Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Keep It Open podcast. I'm Aaron,
And I'm Mitchell.
and today we're going to start it off with Is It Rude?
Thanks for asking the question, Aaron. Today, I would love to talk about movie theaters. What is or isn't rude in a movie theater? What can or can't you do? And
Nice.
when is it okay to cheer for a movie and really like get into it, or should you remain silent during a whole movie?
That's a fair question. I went to see Eternals 2 weeks ago, I think, and
Okay.
they had who's the actor from Silicon Valley? Oh my god, I'm blanking on his name.
I don't know actors well at all. I know
Hold
Jessica
on. I got
something is
this.
in there.
I got this.
Jessica Alba, maybe?
No. He was in Silicon Valley. What was his name? Kumail. He had like a little intro segment before the movie started, and he was like, "Put your phone on vibrate. It's rude. Don't do it. Don't make me shush you." And then it like zooms in on his face, and he's like, "Shh."
Yeah.
Like it was pretty comedic, like a giant picture of Kumail just on the screen, like shushing adults in the theater. But
yeah, they've gotten clever with that stuff.
they have. And I remember, like, since I was a kid, every time you go to the movie theater,
No phone would ring.
no phone, no text tone, nothing.
Yeah,
It's always been like, be respectful, be quiet. So I'll go ahead and if you're watching this, feel free to react in the comments, send us a DM, whatever. I would say it's totally rude for your phone or your Apple Watch or whatever to ding or light up during a movie. Totally rude.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There are people who do it though, man. I remember I watched in I guess this was a couple years ago at this point, but it's Into the Spider-Verse, I think is the name.
Oh yeah,
is the Sony version of Spider-Man, right?
It's a super good movie, actually, the animated one.
Good animated. Yeah,
really cool movie.
really good.
Yeah.
And there was just a person next to me the whole time, just texting the whole time, and
Really?
with a bright screen. And I was like, I thought we were past this in society.
I would have 100% said something.
You would have said something,
I
right?
would have
Yeah.
said something. Absolutely. But yeah, so I think that's like beyond rude, to be honest, right? Like, you're ruining everyone else's experience by doing that. Like, it's just, you're trying to be immersed. You went to a movie theater to see it. Like, you spent money to go see this. Now, the whole cheering thing or the laughing or applauding, obviously laughing is normal, right? Like, that's something that, but like, I think extending the laughter, if you go too long, then that's not cool, right?
Like, take it easy, man.
It's
It
like,
wasn't that funny.
yeah, it wasn't
right?
that funny, dude. Simmer down. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Come on. But cheering, definitely. Clapping, 100%. But you read the room, right? Like, Endgame, Avengers.
You've seen those YouTube videos where people are like premiere night, like dressing
they're hyped up, man. And I think that's totally okay. Like, especially for these long saga movies like Avengers and stuff like that, where there's like multiple movies and like you're really chugging along to that, that final movie, and like you've been waiting for that for like years, right? And then those big superhero moments, for example, where like they're just like, it's just fucking awesome. And people cheer, they clap, they like holler, I think that's cool,
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to say that I would agree with you. And I would say that is not rude. If the room is, if everyone's feeling it.
Yeah. If the vibe is there and everyone's on the same page, kind of in that sense of like, this is the moment, guys.
Would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I would say, if you're seeing it 3 weeks after it's released and you're still pulling that, like, and you're the only one, I mean,
then you're being rude, man.
That's
like,
rude at that point.
Do you think that there's that guy that like goes to the movie like multiple times and like every single time tries to cheer and he's like looking around like, come on, guys, yeah.
Like, no. If it's been 3 weeks, these are the casual moviegoers. They probably haven't even seen all the Marvel movies.
They're probably there on a date or like a family member dragged them. Like, they're not invested in this. Relax.
Dude, dates is what about, how do you feel about like making out in the movie theater?
That's rude. It's rude. It's rude. And like when I was a kid, like, yeah, I'm guilty, but like, that's totally rude.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you go to like a matinee, like no one's there.
If there's nobody there, sure. But I think it's so everybody's going there to most likely everybody's there to see the movie. Some people I know bring their kids to a movie just to kill 2 hours or whatever, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, they're maybe not invested in the movie.
Yeah.
But it ruins the experience for other people, makes people feel uncomfortable. You see two young lovers making out in the movie theater.
Maybe not
like,
even young
on,
lovers,
geez,
man. I'm not lying, dude. I went in when I lived in New Orleans. An ex-girlfriend of mine. We went to Deadpool, and yeah,
what a movie to make out to.
we were making out to Deadpool. So we went to this. It's one of those like nicer movie theaters where like you got lazy boys. There's probably only like 24 seats in the whole theater.
Oh yeah,
the tickets are like $30 a pop, but like you basically have like your own little section, and they have food and drinks and all this stuff. So actually I'm gonna tell a story because it tackles a couple things. So
Please do.
This chick showed up 30 minutes late.
First date?
I don't know. No.
So not your
yeah. So we're
okay,
like it was the couple in front of us. So there's a guy sitting in front of us in an empty chair, and we're like, that's kind of weird. And then so 30 minutes late, this girl comes in. She sits down, and she's on her phone immediately, like pretty high brightness too, like noticeably, right?
Yeah.
And then she starts ordering like a bunch of stuff. She's very loud about her order, and she gets a couple drinks, and about halfway through the movie, her and this dude start making out. She's like halfway into his chair.
Jeez.
Dude, like, I mean, they were in their old, like, probably mid-20s, early 30s. They were not young. So, dude, like, yeah, don't do that.
Definitely rude.
Please don't do that.
I mean, especially during Deadpool, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good freaking movie right there. Like, are you serious?
That's a film. Deadpool. That's a film, dude. That's not even
Ryan Reynolds.
That's not a flick. That's a yeah. Well, name a better Ryan Reynolds movie.
Aside from the classic, which is Waiting. I mean,
I don't know that I've seen that.
You haven't seen Waiting? Oh,
I have not.
It's a classic Ryan Reynolds comedy. It's got a really good cast. Annie Milanakis is in it too, and like Dane Cook and stuff. It was back in the early 2000s, I think. Yeah, early 2000s. But yeah, man, literally, that's a film. It's the peak Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they really did something new with that superhero movie.
That was a fun one.
All right, another one. What about sneaking in snacks and candy and other stuff into the movie theater? That's super common.
Hell no. I'm all about that.
Oh, okay.
I'm all about that, man. They gouge you for those snacks, dude.
Oh god, it's like $9 for a little Reese's. I mean,
yeah, man. Yeah.
It's and the popcorn. I mean, but you got to do the popcorn though. You can't. That's hard to sneak in.
It is hard. Yeah, the popcorn's hard to sneak in, but the candy and stuff like that, or even like drinks, like you could even potentially sneak those in. Like whenever I go, so there's I don't want to wrap myself out too hard here, but the movie theater around the corner from me, they don't like have like a check-in or anything. You buy your tickets online and you literally just walk in and go to your theater.
Oh wow. Do you like scan it or anything?
No.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's like a normal thing. I went like 2 weeks ago, like I said.
Might be a COVID thing.
Maybe.
Short on labor.
Yeah, for Eternals, and like I had like the tickets up and everything, and like I was ready to like, for them to scan it. That's normally what they do.
Yeah.
No one was there to scan. We just kind of walked in and we're like, all right. We just walked over.
Heat with the snacks, probably.
Yeah, dude. So like I always wear like a jacket, and I just like load up the pockets, man. Some Skittles, you bring some other stuff, and you just keep it on the DL, and you're chilling.
Yeah.
No one says shit.
When I was a kid, I have this cousin who I'm really close to, and she's maybe, I don't know, 15 years older than me and my siblings, but she would always bring us to the movies. And
yeah,
when I was a kid, I didn't understand that it was not allowed to bring snacks in. And we would always have this ritual of going to a CVS before the movie theater. And I was always be like, why or in my mind, I was like, why does everybody go to CVS before going to a movie? I was like, we called her Nana. I was like, Nana, they have snacks there. Why don't we just buy the snacks there?
You're like, no, we go to CVS.
And she would always be like, oh no, just be quiet about it when we walk in. We'll hand it out in there. And my little brothers would ask like, oh, can I hold my own snack walking in? And she was like, no, we'll hand it out once we sit down.
And you're over there like, you're over there like, wow, this is interesting, and little did you know you were participating in a crime.
Oh yeah. I mean, is that different than stealing?
Yeah,
it's
different from stealing. You're paying for the candy. You're just denying the sale of the candy at the movie theater. Like, I don't think it's stealing. It's it's one of those like cultural things. Like, is it the best thing to do? No, but does like pretty much everyone do it? Absolutely. Do movie theaters know people do it? Yes. Like, I also highly doubt like they would kick you out if they caught you. Like, I feel like if they caught you, they just like confiscate your snacks.
Oh, that'd be embarrassing. Would they stop the movie, do you think?
I don't think they'd stop the movie, yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, dude. I don't think it would be that serious. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, because some movie theaters, like, you can't have booze or whatever in them. So, like, I think if they caught you with alcohol, that's a different story. But, like, if they catch you with a bag of Sour Patch Kids, they're probably just going to be like, you can't have those. You know, like, I don't even know. I don't think it'd be that serious. But that's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Speaking of Eternals, I actually saw it at a drive-in theater, which
that's awesome.
is a dying art form.
It really is, yeah.
And when I went, it was in the suburbs of Houston, but it was packed, dude. There were hundreds of people there.
Actually.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Kind of a cold night, if I'm being honest, as well. I mean, but
so how does it work? Do you still like get the little speaker and you like put it in the car, or like?
Yeah, so some people brought a radio. Dude, some families brought a giant like subwoofer portable speaker,
and you hook it up,
and yeah, you battery powered, and you just tune it to the radio station.
So they broadcast the audio through the local radio station.
Yeah, so it was like 99 point something.
And that's actually kind of cool.
It's really clever, and so the timing, the lineup of the audio visual was perfect.
Really,
and yeah. So I think the idea is like in the old days, you would tune your radio in your car to the station, and then everybody has their own like audio system, right?
Yeah.
But now, and where I was at, most people, Houston, Texas, a lot of trucks, so there were tons of trucks. Everyone just sitting in the beds of trucks, and man, some of these families just brought this subwoofer out, dude. And I was like, there were maybe like 20 cars down. I'm like, Jesus, what is this like bass? I can feel the booming. Yeah. And
that's kind of sick.
It sounded echoey, so I had to roll up all my windows and play my
isolate
own
yourself. Yeah.
Right.
That's still pretty cool though.
I would say that almost might be rude, actually.
I would say that is a little bit rude. I was gonna say, is there not kind of like a rule? Because like you said, like subwoofers, like you feel sub.
You feel some of the bass.
You're kind of affecting everyone else's experience by like bumping that bass, man. Like,
exactly. And I was not close to it, but
and you could still it carries. Like I have a subwoofer on my setup here with my speakers, and like you feel it. It's a different type of like audio. You know what I mean? It's pushing air. Like
yeah.
But that is a really cool concept, though. I've always wanted to go to a drive-in. I think I went once when I was really young, but I can't even remember what movie. I think it was like a holiday movie or something. But that does sound cool, man. Like in the pickup truck, you back it in, you get the bed all set up with like a blanket and stuff.
You can bring all the snacks you want too.
There you go. Right, you're not breaking any rules except for bringing your own
popcorn in that situation.
Right. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen that car? I think they're called Rivian. That has like a sink and a stove and like everything built into it.
Oh, I have not. Dude, I think you're just describing a van life movement car.
Like what we talked about last week. Yeah.
An RV.
I'll send you the link. I'll also, if anyone's interested, I'll drop a quick little link in the comments here. But they're these concept cars. They're electric pickup trucks, and behind the passenger side door on the back right, so passenger side behind not the driver side passenger but the rear passenger, there's like a little flap, and it pulls out, and it's like pretty long. It's like a counter, and there's like a sink that you like lift off the top, that becomes a cutting board, you push down, and then there's a little spray faucet, and there you have a potable water tank in the car, and then there's an electric stove on the thing and like counter space. It's really freaking cool, actually.
What's the idea there though? You go camping?
You go camping, and like all of that equipment is like part of your vehicle. It's included in the car. It's definitely for more outdoorsy folk, but it's a pretty cool engineering thing to like check out. Here I'll post a little picture. I'll put a little picture up on the screen here, and I'll give it to you so you can see it too and give us a little reaction. But yeah, that just kind of reminded me, like, that would be a pretty cool thing. You could like drive that to a drive-in movie and do like a little barbecue type deal.
Like a little dinner.
Yeah, while you're like
grill some burgers.
Grill some burgers up while you're watching a movie. Like that'd be kind of cool. I put it in the Discord if you want to check it out. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty sweet, right?
It's outside.
Yeah, it like pulls out.
Oh, dude, you could do little bartending there or something.
Yeah, you could like put a tent over the side of the car too and make it like a whole little enclosure. It's pretty sweet. It's a pretty cool idea. And they're fully electric.
A little water tank in there too.
Yep, potable water and everything.
I mean that car, I mean that bar, that little thing alone, but the car itself looks pretty sweet.
Doesn't it? Yeah, they look good.
The front of that is concept car for sure, but it's 100%.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing. Cars are, hey man, they're becoming utilitous now. It's not just a mode of transportation. Like that's a freaking kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's talk about Eternals. Are you down?
Yeah. So yeah.
Spoiler alert, guys. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen it, stop now.
Yeah. So what did you think about it?
Okay, yeah, I'll start us off, man. I thought that it was good. It's not your typical Marvel movie that's, you know, lots of action and like, you know, coupled with some cheeky comedy and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, if you want, we can talk about Shang-Chi, which I think was probably one of the best Marvel movies to date so far. And it had those things, right? Like it had great combat sequences, actually a really solid story, really funny moments. Awkwafina killed it. So did Simu, the lead. But I think that Eternals and Shang-Chi are kind of like the different sides of the Marvel token. So to go a little bit more into what I mean is like, I think Eternals was a more serious plot line. I mean, this is like a foundational part of the Marvel universe, like the characters like Arashem and these celestial beings. Like these are big powers that be in that universe. And it's also kind of a creation story, right? Like it talks about like the foundations of Earth and like civilization and how these Eternals have been here since we became like, I mean, we were practically cavemen when they got here, right? And so I think the tone was correct. It was a little bit more serious. There obviously was some comedy and some playful aspects, but yeah, I think the color scheme was a little bit more like earth tony, right? Like usually like Marvel movies have really like the colors pop and they're really, you know, a lot of CGI and stuff like that. And this was a little bit more subdued in its production because it was more serious. Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I would say that, you know, you have the spectrum of, if we're just talking Marvel films, right?
Yeah, like, sure.
I would say like Thor: The Dark World is like a dark film, like dark color palette is what I mean. Not
very
like
much
evil
so
or anything. Like it's dark color palette film, and it wasn't a great one. It was like arguably one of the worst ones.
Agreed.
Then, you know, you've got on the other end Thor Ragnarok's like super colorful, like it's almost looks animated
and
it's,
like really funny and actually
I think
it was a really good
comedy,
one,
right?
Yeah,
like,
I think it was a really good
really
one.
good. Yeah, right. A lot of people, that's their a lot of people's favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Now Eternals, what I found was I liked the movie. Thought it was good, not great. I would say. So I think we agree there.
Yep, definitely.
I think the visual aspect, like, you know, every time they produce those gold
the weapons and stuff,
right, that was beautiful. Like the animation
so
there
well done. Yeah,
fantastic.
Totally.
And the whole time, all I could think about was like, every time they're like doing this business is like they had to do this without the animation, so like they probably felt like so stupid.
I bet in the bloopers, like they laugh a couple times, right? Like they're doing the thing and they're just like, you have to, guys, like sorry, let me.
Especially the guy who's like doing this thing. You know?
That's
like he probably looks so stupid in the actual film. I think my biggest problem with it, the finger guns, one big problem I had actually was they didn't flesh out that guy a lot. Maybe he'll come back for the second one, but I forget his name. But my big problem with it was that there were a lot of characters. It was already a long movie, and
it was a long movie.
They didn't do a great job of fleshing all them out. Like I think there's a lot of story that could have been told. Even, I mean, maybe it doesn't matter, but you know, like I think they could have, even the main character Cersei, like what's her how does she really feel about the betrayal? How does she
Right.
like feel about humans? The black dude, Faistus, is that his name?
The engineer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was
like
Fastos.
Fastus, yeah,
Yeah.
which I think comes from Hephaestus, Hephaestus or something, which is it's like a Greek god of the blacksmith who would create all the Olympic weapons.
Okay.
But like he's the only one with the family, right? And
yes,
how did he like reconcile that, to have a kid and stuff? Like,
right.
How did he feel about, I mean, he's going to leave them in the next 50 to 100 years, right?
Yeah, I think, like you said, they kind of like touch on that stuff, but again, like they didn't really, the character development was very surface level. It really was like, and like you said, I mean, it was a pretty large cast, right? Like something like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, also has a pretty large cast, but I think they did it in a really good way. Like they built it character by character, right? Like you meet Peter Quill and then they slowly tack on Rocket and Groot and then Gamora, and like it slowly builds into an ensemble. And so you start to connect with the characters, and there's time to learn about who they are and what drives them, and you're ready to see the development of that character. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like it was already a long movie, and I think they probably could have split this movie into two off rip. Like,
oh sure, this one alone, yeah,
they could have really extended a lot of like the precursor stuff. So like before modern day, they could have shown us a lot more about what the Eternals went through in the past human era.
They could have had another bad guy, I think, for that part of the act.
Totally, they could have showed us more about, what were they called, the
deviants.
The deviants. They could have showed us a little bit more about Deviants. Yeah, they could have showed us a little bit more about the variances multiverse.
That's Loki. Yeah,
that's Loki. Which we can talk about that too. But yeah, so I think they could have given us a little bit more about that plot line. Like they gave us enough to understand what was going on and like what the threat was, but show us a little bit more of that. Like, show us how you actually defeated them all. Show us that big battle. Give us that action. Give us that story. And then also, I mean, like Cersei and Icarus, like they focused a lot on that like love paradigm between the two of them, but like it felt kind of hollow. Like,
oh, definitely.
And then his betrayal was kind of obvious it was coming, in my opinion.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, I was gonna say they could have fleshed that out more to make him be more appealing at the beginning, because from the beginning I was like, am I supposed to like this guy?
I kind of don't like him. Yeah,
like, he already feels evil.
Yeah, he does
from the first time he shows up, right?
Yeah,
like he feels like a jerk, right? Because she's kind of in love with this human, right?
Yes,
and he kind of shows up as
Jon Snow.
So he shows up as the like the guy on the motorcycle, like super cool, can fly, laser beams out of his eyes.
But very cold, distant, like,
distant, right?
Not a character that you're like, whoa, like he saved the day. You're just kind of like, okay, he's strong, but
and I wonder if they did that because they didn't have time to explore his whole character. Like they couldn't show that arc within 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, and like I know you had another thought, but real quick, I think like they had like, I think they had a lot of plot they wanted to get through with this movie. And unfortunately, they weren't able to kind of find a good balance between like character development and hitting all the plot points that they wanted to accomplish. Because, I mean, you saw the movie. There's going to be a sequel in like a year or two. So, but yeah.
Because I wonder if, in their mind, it's probably the right move. Sacrifice some character development to get in the plot stuff, so
everyone's kind of up to speed and they can keep it rolling, right?
Because it's really probably a movie that serves as like a diving board, right? Like it's more of so like a foundational knowledge to like let other things spring off of, I think.
110%. Like I watched it and like me and my roommate's reaction was basically, well, the second one better be good, because like, like
the first one
they set us up, but like, let's see if it really comes together on the next one. But yeah.
The other thing I was going to mention earlier was it felt silly at the end for that deviant, the one that started to become sentient.
Yeah, the one that
absorb powers, and like it felt silly that they were not only battling that but also Icarus and Sprite, right? Yeah.
Yes.
the other young gal who moved over to Icarus side, which by the way, that betrayal was kind of like out of nowhere, like didn't really feel it,
Yeah, they like kind of touched on it, right? Like she was
like felt ostracized because she was the only young one.
Yeah,
and
she had a lot of angst because she didn't have like an adult body, but she was pretty much just as old as the rest of them, and so that kind of manifested in her like going with Icarus. But I just, again, right, like it's the lack of character development which makes it feel kind of, it made a lot of the relationships and plot points between the characters feel hollow as a standalone.
Hollow is a great word.
Yeah, if you look at just the plot's pretty cool, like with meeting Arashem for the first time and understanding like the way that they create celestials and
all
like
those bastards,
dude, it's brutal.
It's clever though.
They harvest life. They literally treat us like ant farms of energy. Well, not even. It's like a battery farm.
It's just like a livestock.
It's a battery farm. We're literally just life energy, just that they absorb over thousands of years, and then they just pop out and say, "What's up? I'm here."
Yeah.
But so plot wise, it was really cool to think about that stuff and learn, like, to see that part of the Marvel universe be brought into the the actual film universe, right? Because I'm not like a diehard Marvel fan. I have a couple friends who are, and they basically are like, oh yeah, this movie's big because you finally start to learn about like these beings and like so that's huge for understanding the actual universe. And then it kind of coincides with like Loki and what we're doing there with like the multiverse, and then the new Doctor Strange movie that's coming out. So we're starting to get deeper and deeper and deeper. But yeah, plot wise, it was entertaining. Again, I think they just fell a little bit short with the characters.
Yeah,
I think they felt like having a star cast of like Angelina Jolie and Kit Harington and Richard Madden and Salma Hayek.
They might pull them through, right?
They were like, yeah, we can just put it on their back and people will love it. And it's like, I think Angelina Jolie played her role great. Like she was the badass. She was supposed to be a little bit cold, and they did some
mental problems, but it just didn't hit.
Yeah, they tried to develop it. It just, like I said, like we've been saying, like they could have split this movie into two and used the first one to really connect us to the characters, right? Right. And then the second movie, we get into this big battle with the deviant Icarus sprite and the taming, or not the taming, but the them defeating Tiamat, at least freezing him. I mean,
do you know something we don't?
I don't know. I mean, he's frozen, right? That's what they did. Like I mean, it looks like he's frozen. Maybe she like stopped him from.
I thought they like severed the life force or something.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what happened, but like I don't know. Part of me doesn't think he's fully dead. I don't think he's fully dead because he's fully formed. I don't know. I feel like there could be a way to like, give him a shot in the arm and
unlock him.
Yeah, I feel like that's a possibility, but
and I'm not a diehard Marvel fan. I watch the movies and stuff. I don't really know much more past that. But I
haven't really read any of the comics or anything. So
yeah, but these are supposed to be the next sort of universal threat, I think, right? The Celestials. Which,
we're in the next phase of the Marvel movies or the Marvel universe. We're in the next phase. Endgame and Thanos, that was one big phase, or that was phase 4, I think. And so now we're moving into the next arc.
Phase 5, right? Yeah. The issue, I think that, well, this is just my opinion as a non-film critic.
Yeah, sure.
Just a civilian, just a regular person. But that, they keep running into this. I see it as like an issue of the scale of the antagonist. So every antagonist is a world-threatening threat. Like every single movie that happens is like the world's gonna end. There's just no more stakes anymore. There's no more. It's like it doesn't feel important.
It's always like all in, like
right. And it just begs the question of like why they try to address it in this movie, but like why isn't every hero that's been introduced working on every problem that comes up, right? Because logically that would make sense. In this one they address like, well, we were told not to intervene unless it was deviant related, and that's convenient plot point,
right? Very,
but like where's Ant-Man, like
Where are the Avengers?
Yeah, or any of the hundreds of Avengers out there, right?
That's a good point too, because I remember again talking with my roommate after the movie, and I was like, I thought we were gonna get at least one cameo by somebody.
Yeah,
like just because like you're telling me that like none of the Avengers like know that these guys are around. I find that hard to believe.
Right.
Like,
this giant celestial comes out of the ocean.
It's like
no, I mean,
there's no pings.
Can't call anybody.
Yeah, like no one's beeper went off. Like they just missed that email alert. Like
right. Wouldn't it be something if like this giant thing comes out of the ocean? You got all the Eternals there, and you get like Hawkeye show up.
He's like,
how can I help? You know?
I have arrows. How can I help?
Oh man.
Yeah, so I definitely think, it was like it was good. It could have been better. It definitely could have been better. The end was interesting, I guess, with Star Fox showing up. Again, setting it up for the next movie. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be one of those that they really need to deliver on the sequel. To keep people invested in the Eternals universe. Now, I will say Cersei is very strong. Her character in the Marvel universe goes on to be, I think she's like one of the strongest. Let me double check this.
I hear this all the time though, like, this person's one of the strongest, like in this comic edition, like Hulk is supposed to be, whatever, but then Thor is also in this other edition.
Yeah. So she is one of the strongest like beings in the universe.
Yeah. Okay.
For a point. So like, she's like the only living 5th level adept at matter transmutation. So like she can alter molecular and atomic structures of all matter, including living organisms, at the highest possible level. Like she's very strong. She's not there yet, but
in the film I was like, man, this power kind of sucks.
Yeah, so she's like, I don't think she's not really there yet, but she will be. And I know that like in the comics, like she plays some pretty important roles like later on with certain things. But yeah, she's very strong, and we're gonna learn that in the coming movies. But yeah.
Any other thoughts on Eternals?
I'm excited to see where it goes, man. I mean, they did some teasers. I will address Kit Harington, the Black Knight.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting.
How coincidental, though,
I know, right? He can't get away from it. The Black Knight, the Night's Watch, taking the black, like he literally can't get away from this role. But the Black Knight is...
How'd you feel about Harry Styles
being Star Fox?
Yeah, like I it certainly was in the budget, but like, was it really needed?
Dude, honestly, when I saw that, I was like, okay,
like I guess he's trying to get into acting now.
Listen, I don't blame him. He's got a massive following.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll do. All-star cast. I'm sure he'll do well in the role. I'm sure he'll do well. Could there have been a better casting? Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how he does. I think he played his little 2 minutes well, but we'll see how it goes, right?
Well, they probably already filmed the next one too, right? I think they filmed in conjunction.
I think they probably either filmed like it's either done and in editing, or like they have a little bit more to shoot. Like, because they edit these for a while.
Yeah,
they edit these for a while.
How much do you think Eternals has done in box office so far? If you had to guess.
I actually don't know off the top of my head. I would say probably a couple 100 million, right?
All right, let me guess before you look it up.
All right,
I would say, well, it's been out for 2 weeks.
It's been out for more than 2 weeks, hasn't it?
More than 2 weeks? Okay.
Has it?
I thought it was mid-November. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right. Mid-November.
Mid-November. By this point, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I would say, I would guess more north of 120 million.
You ready?
Yeah.
Over 300.
300 million.
Over 300 million.
Jeez.
Yep.
Well, with a cast like that, I mean, they probably still haven't broken even.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. So as of November 14th, it was at 281.4 million. So yeah, it's over 300 for sure.
Jeez.
Eternals cost. Let's see. 200 million. So they've already made almost 100 million in profit.
Yeah. the Marvels, man, they've got so luckily they're doing it well.
Yeah.
But they have so much
Yeah.
power to like they can put anything out. Not anything, but like if they do it right, they whatever they put out, they're gonna guarantee like that they're gonna get their costs back, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, truthfully,
so
like
strong
they
right
run
now.
very little risk with these movies. Like even
Right.
if people don't like it, they're gonna go see it.
Still gonna watch it. Yeah,
So like they're gonna get their money. So yeah, I do want to address the Black Knight. So the ebony blade, right, which is what he found at the end of the movie, right? He finds the sword. And so that sword was created by Merlin in the era of Camelot. And as far as I understand it, it's a magical blade. It can cut through any substance, and it's basically a freaking lightsaber. And it protects its wielder from death, and to deflect and defend the wielder from magic. So, I mean, it's pretty OP, right?
So interesting.
So if you're wielding
he's
the
protected from
sword,
all magic.
if you're wielding the sword, you cannot die. You are
from anything.
Anything. You are invincible.
Oh.
Literally invincible. It protects you from death. Now, I think the problem of it is that it's a corrupting power. So it's only to be able
deal with the devil.
It's only able to be used by people pure of heart. Apparently that turned out to not be true, but I mean, again, these are like, we'll see where they take it. But so that's who his character is going to be. I also see here that there is a little reference to Kang the Conqueror, which is Loki. Well, it's not Loki, but it's the character in Loki. The man who never dies, right? Wasn't that what he was called?
He's supposed to come back. Yeah.
So because he will come back, because that's Kang, aka what's his other name?
I don't know. It's like the
Nathaniel Richards. But what's his
like
other
the knowing
name?
one or something like that?
Yeah. What's his other name? So Kang the Conqueror is the bad one. The one that tried to destroy.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the other version of him. Hold on. I looked into this at the end of Loki. I can't remember. It's Kang the Conqueror and
Nathaniel Richards.
That's the person before he becomes the ascendant being.
Okay.
But he has another. Is it Immortus?
Victor Timely. I'm looking up this article here.
Okay, then there's Immortus. So yeah, he has multiple variants of himself. So it gets kind of convoluted, and we'll let it play out. Like again, like I haven't read too far into this stuff. So okay, here we go. Alter egos. Immortus, Iron Lad, Rama Tut, Victor Timely, Scarlet Centurion. Yeah. So like his variants have all their own. Like, yeah. But Kang keeps coming back around a lot. Yeah.
Right. That they run the risk of well, I don't even know if they run the risk, but
running themselves into a corner.
Yeah, or like right. I mean, like losing people too. Like it's like I haven't seen your 27 previous movies, so like
so like I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, that's a fair point. Like at what
they walk the tightrope of also like let's appeal to people who have never seen anything and still just want to go have a good time at the movies for a date or just entertainment, but then also continue this lore in a way that's like
interesting to the people that are paying attention.
Yeah, it's hard because it's such a big audience. You have to please everybody. Dude, do it really well.
It's true. And I think that, that's a really good point to bring up, because I think it ties us into Shang-Chi, which
Shang-Chi.
I think that movie is strong as a standalone. Really strong as a standalone, but there are lots of references to the bigger themes and threads throughout the Marvel movies. So there's kind of like, again, like you said, that tightrope walk. But I think you're right, man. There will be a point where the filter has to be raised, right? Like I'd say like in a few years from now, like there will be some movies in the catalog that there will be prerequisites. Otherwise you're just going to be like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
But that makes sense, right? Like you can't jump into like episode 2 or like episode 4 of Star Wars and understand like it. You have to start at 1. You have to understand the characters and what's going on in the plot. And so,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these things. I mean, at the end, the payoff is so sweet, though.
Yeah, that's why people
this is
cheer.
Be the best franchise, probably movie franchise of all time. I think it already is the highest grossing. But
I think it is. I think the highest box office ever is still Avatar, though.
Oh, really?
It's still Avatar for highest box office, right? But I think total revenue, 100%. It's yeah. It has to be.
So on Shang-Chi, know, I do think also great standalone movie. So this is the balance though, because it's this like, if you're too good of a standalone movie, then you're not connected to the rest of the universe. And then I think they pushed a little bit that direction, because it's like, I mean, they had Wong in there, they had other references to whoever, but again, world threatening,
right?
Like evil monster. Nobody else knows, you know, and not only that, but a potentially world power organization under his dad, right? I forget what they were called, but he has all these assassins, the 10 rings, all the assassins, and he himself was very powerful, and that has not been flagged as a threat, like at all, right? But he's literally running probably the entire underground of multiple nations or something, right? So in that sense, it's like, wow, well, I can't believe this wasn't mentioned in other movies, and therefore it is a good standalone. But it also leaves a little something to be like, you just have to accept now with these movies. I think that that they're not super intertwined with the previous films.
Yeah, and so like this is post Snap. This is when this takes place, right? So Thanos, it's in the lull between the next big world-ending thing. I actually don't know if this is pre Arishem and Tiamat or post Arishem Tiamat. They don't mention that, like where it falls in terms of Eternals.
Yeah.
But clearly it's pre. Well, I guess we'll have to wait for the new Doctor Strange to be sure, because I'm sure they'll give us some kind of time reference. But I think it's probably before the next Strange movie with Spider-Man that's coming out.
I would think so. Yeah, I think so.
So, again, it's also, in a similar way to the Eternals movie, it's a foundational one, right? They're introducing us to the character, they're introducing us to this new realm within the Marvel universe. And, overall, I thought it was really good. I actually thought it was great. Like, I think the casting was really good. The soundtrack was entertaining. Awkwafina was hilarious. She played off of what's his name? Simu really well. Like he was terrific. I think that the CGI was incredible. The art design, like the animals and just the comedy, like it just all played really well together. It really did.
Yeah. I agree. I think it always starts off, it's like how do I describe this, kind of like maybe a funnel, like it starts off in the small tip of the funnel, right? And it's like their worries are bandits who have swords or whatever, and then it grows to like this little bit bigger thing where it's like, okay, now you're facing an army or whatever, and in the end you're facing like a world-ending demon, you're riding a dragon, like you have all 10 rings, right? Like
it did go from 0 to 100 pretty quick in the span of 2 hours.
Right. I thought it was a beautiful movie. The colors, the animation.
Can we talk about the character's mental health? Like, no one took a break to be like the character, like Simu's character, Shang-Chi. Like, no one took a. I think it's so funny, right? Like, all of these heroes, like, even when they're like kind of just like normal, like you said, like fighting some like rogues, up to like riding on a dragon and using magic, like there's never a moment like, hey, do you want to sit down and just like talk this through a little bit? Like, how are you feeling with your transition? Like, it's always just like they're ready.
The world's
they're just like, I'm going to rise to the occasion and just bat 100 and hit the grand slam.
See, that's what makes him Shang-Chi versus you and me, Aaron, right?
Like, exactly. He's just ready.
Not the chosen one.
Yeah, he's the chosen one. He's basically Neo. Like,
well, that's an interesting thing in these movies, especially Shang-Chi in particular, because it's like simultaneously he's the chosen one, but also a normal guy, right? And so it's like some of these films, the average guy, like Captain America, Steve Rogers before, he was just good character, right? Like good morals and good values, and he becomes the superhero. This guy Shang-Chi is the chosen one, but becomes a regular person after leaving that world.
Yes.
And then again has to like rediscover himself as
Right.
like the chosen one.
Right.
I mean, he was the son of like a god, basically.
Pretty much,
right?
yeah,
like
a demigod. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good though. I really liked it. I'm excited to see the sequel, and clearly, like, they set some stuff up, right? Like the rings have been on Earth for an incredibly long time in the post credits.
Yeah.
And Wong's analyzing it. Banner's
right.
there, as well as Captain Marvel. And so like, that's where we get our little cameo that I was kind of hoping for in Eternals. We get it in Shang-Chi. So they're kind of being brought into the fold, which is cool. And then you see that his sister is taking over the Ten Rings, the army.
Oh yeah,
and turning it into like equality, like men and women can train and all this stuff.
Right.
And so I guess we'll have to see.
She's pretty badass herself.
She's super badass, man.
Yeah.
Definitely not to be fucked with. Like she didn't even need the 10 rings to like put in some work. Like
yeah.
So I'm excited to see where her story goes as well, and she might even get her own spin-off, which would be really cool. I would totally watch that. So,
yeah. Nice, man. Yeah, overall great movie. And I also, I mean, there's this whole aspect of the like Asian American representation too, which hadn't really been done super well.
Agreed.
Up until I think Wong was the first Asian like character, and there might have been others, but I think what's her name in Guardians of the Galaxy? Mantis.
Yeah,
I think she's Asian, but like in the film, she's an alien, right?
Yeah, she's an alien, so it's like not. It doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's good, man. That we're getting a more diverse cast and more culture shown in these movies, and I think that's great. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. It I've seen when I was a kid, we watched so many of these like kung fu movies that it felt some of the moments I couldn't help but feel like that they were cheesy. I don't know if that's just like me associating with those kung fu movies.
Oh, definitely.
I was like, this is like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Dude,
here,
that's what I said. In the scene where
felt a little cheesy.
In the scene where the dad fights the mom for the first time in the forest, and she's like floating around on the, like it reminded me of some of the fight scenes from Crouching Tiger. And I was like, but at the same time, it's entertaining, right? Like it's cool.
Yeah, it's a new. I'm glad they do it. Like you can't have every fight scene be the. Sort of the same palette and everything, and like same sequence, right? Like then it just becomes stale. But
exactly. But it was cool, man. Like there was a lot of different types of martial arts shown off in that movie. There was like Wing Chun and like a lot of different disciplines shown off, a lot of different types of kung fu, and like I think they did a good job though. They did a really good job, like overall. I mean, definitely some parts were cheesy, and you could kind of see where they were using wires.
Right. People, right. I don't know how to get around that though, because it's like. Maybe that is what we look like when humans float. I don't know.
Hey,
but, like, just never happened.
We haven't really seen it yet. So, Eternals, if you're watching and you're really out there, show us what it looks like when humans fly.
And all the Marvel fans out there, I hope you're listening to this and like, God, you guys are idiots. Like, please comment below.
Yes.
Like, we like the comments, even if they're negative. So.
Honestly, and if we get enough interest in this one, in the comments and stuff like that, maybe we'll hop on like Instagram Live or TikTok Live and do like a Q&A where we'll ask questions to you guys, and you guys who know all the answers to this Marvel stuff can enlighten us and the rest of the community.
Would love to do that.
Yeah, because my buddy, like I said, he reads comics. He does a lot of like research into this stuff on the internet, and he knows so much. And like, so after these movies, I'll go pick his brain, and like I can only handle about an hour of it before I'm like, dude, it's too much. My brain's going to explode because everything connects. Everything connects.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot, but it's a great universe. I think the last thing I want to wrap it up with is the Wheel of Time. Have you heard of that on Amazon Prime Video?
No.
So I actually just ordered the books because I watched the first 4 episodes, and it's awesome. It's a fantasy show. It's got kind of like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings vibes. It's pretty well done so far. Yeah, again, this is not sponsored. This is not an ad. I just like to share content that I find enjoyable. So the Wheel of Time. If you're looking for something to watch over the next couple days or on the weekend, that is definitely a good one to check out. I've been enjoying it a lot so far.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for the reco.
Definitely.
Well, if we're doing recos, then I would have to
let me have them.
Let's see. I've actually been watching Arcane on Netflix.
Yes,
So I'm
so
only
good.
halfway through maybe.
Yes.
But I'm trying to finish it up, and maybe we can talk about that on the next one. But
I would love to.
I'll also love to talk to your buddy about Marvel. You know what we should do with him? Maybe
We should have him on.
We should have him on. Maybe we should like rank our top 3-5 Marvel movies.
Okay.
And he can tell us why we're wrong, basically.
Okay, yeah. I'll he's actually in my Discord right now. After we wrap up the show,
Oh, really?
I'll go pester him and see if he wants to do that. I'm sure he'd be down. That sounds like something up his alley. He likes to have a heated debate.
Okay, good. Because I will say I stand behind my favorite pretty strongly.
Is your
I've
favorite
seen a lot of
Ragnarok?
these. It is not.
What's your favorite?
I don't know if I should save it.
Okay. All right.
I might
We'll save it. We'll save it.
It's yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I do agree though. Arcane is really good. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's League of Legends animated series that they're getting started on Netflix. It's really good.
Free publicity for Arcane, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's good stuff.
It's a beautiful show.
Let's be honest. Riot has been throwing money at that ad campaign. I mean,
yeah, I've seen it.
It is everywhere.
I actually saw it in a really funny place. I can't remember.
Yeah,
might have been a billboard just like driving through my
like
rural Texas or something. But...
And then they've been, because they're a video game company, right? They have League of Legends, they have Legends of Runeterra, they have Valorant, they have a lot of different games. They're doing crossovers between the different games. There's Amazon giveaways through Twitch Prime. When you play like League, you get skins for the characters. You even get the champion for free if you play enough. So like that's something that you normally have to like grind out or spend real money on. So like, dude, their marketing campaign is like, that's some program level management right there.
Oh yeah, geez, nice.
Yeah, man.
So Riot, the video game company, also animated this show.
Yeah, they produced it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, these characters that are in the show are champions in League.
This is, and maybe this is a topic for another time, but this is always something when I used to play a lot of video games, which I actually unfortunately don't anymore, but I would always long to have like better and longer cutscenes and like where characters would actually talk and stuff.
You should play Final Fantasy 14 online.
Oh yeah, maybe I should.
a ton of freaking cutscenes. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I think this is also like a really big turning point for video games, like because Riot is doing this really well. Like Arcane is good, the animation is good, the voice acting is good, the storyline is good. Like it's a good fucking show. Like they really killed it.
And there have been bad renditions of video game stuff.
I mean,
like, especially movies and this is a really good one.
There's the Castlevania anime, and that's like, it's okay, it's all right. I've watched it all, but it's not on the same level as Arcane. And they have so much more that they can do with that show. But there are other.
Well, don't spoil it. I'm only
no.
I'm not
Yeah,
quite done yet, but...
no. I'm not going to spoil. There's other cities. There's tons of other heroes, which I mean, main characters, right? So like in the show, you have like Vi, Jinx, Jace, Echo. You have a bunch of characters. Those are all champions in the game. You can go play them right now. And so there are a lot more of those people, and they all have hometowns and origin stories and conflict. So
its own complex universe.
Yeah, this is just the very beginning, man.
Oh, I'm excited.
Very beginning. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. We can definitely talk a little bit more about Arcane in the next episode for a bit if you want. I would love to. It's a good show.
Yeah, for sure.
Free publicity. Man. Go watch Arcane.
If they want to sponsor us, though, we won't say no. Though,
Yeah, Riot. If you're listening, please. I love your games. I'm addicted to TFT. I've been playing it nonstop lately. But yeah, man. Do you think we should keep it open for today?
I think we should keep it open.
Awesome.
Nope.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Keep It Open podcast. Once again, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Mitchell.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Take care, guys.